at our the main event. The main event. So I'm going to quickly go through my honorable mentions, and then
Sure.
and then you can do the same. And my honorable mentions, pretty short list. The Holdovers, very cozy, great movie. It's kind of like I would describe it as a grown-up Charles Schultz type story. Just has that kind of energy of the Peanuts for some reason.
Yeah.
For me, Sound of Freedom. Thought it was a pretty solid thriller. Much better than most people would admit. It's they used to make movies like this all the time back in like the 90s. They just don't anymore. Suitable Flesh I thought was worth checking out. It's a old Stuart Gordon script that he never got to make, and Barbara Crampton and I think Joe Russo got together and made it, and it's pretty good. And before I even knew that it was a old Stuart Gordon project, my review of it actually said it's like a sleazy Stuart Gordon version of like a Shannon Tweed erotic thriller from like Showtime from back in the day. And that's kind of what it is. It's a fun movie. The Equalizer 3, just solid dadcore action movie. The second best Equalizer, pretty good. Ridley Scott's Napoleon, I enjoyed it more than other people, but I completely understand all the criticism. And Megan. I thought Megan was actually pretty fun.
I missed out on Megan.
It was better than I ever expected it to be.
Yeah. It was one of those January, February horror releases where I'm like, I'll get around to it, but yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah, my honorable mentions, I guess, to that. I have John Wick 4, which I thought was a good, if this is the closure to that series, great, but I could still see potential for more for a lot of those characters too. I mean, what a great universe they built and stayed consistent, and even at that length, this was the year especially for every movie that felt like it was 3 hours.
Indulgent year, the year of indulgence.
Yeah, the year of indulgent 3 hours, but no, you don't feel it though. It's actually, it kind of earns it in a way. I liked John Wick 4 overall. Same with you. I had Napoleon there. I thought it was a solid Ridley Scott epic. The guy just keeps directing after directing. I think he knows his life is getting too short, so he's probably trying to get as much projects in there as possible.
Honestly, that's kind of true. He's actually said as much.
Yeah. But I really liked it. I have Infinity Pool on there. Brandon Cronenberg's Infinity Pool. We've already talked about it in depth. Master Gardener, I thought was pretty good. Not as good as his last couple of efforts. I would say First Reformed of those recent movies.
The Card Counters.
The Card Counter's the other one. It's up there, but it's not like as.
I hear you. I actually
deliver.
It's actually on its way. I have it coming in the mail, but I haven't watched it yet.
Gotcha. I have David Fincher's The Killer on Netflix, which I thought was decent. Might need to watch again. It's very meticulous. It's a little autistic. It's a little weird in places, but it does present like a return to like what he is probably more known for in the 90s, early 2000s of his work. So I like that. Asteroid City, Wes Anderson's Asteroid City, I thought was pretty good. I liked M. Night's Knock at the Cabin. Overall, not his greatest, but nothing like too bad comparatively to.
No, it's a very M. Night Shyamalan movie,
right?
And the way he changes the story is very M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
Very M. Night Shyamalan, because the book is much darker.
Absolutely, yeah. He finds a way to find the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, basically since Signs, he's become a much more hopeful man.
Right. Exactly. Hey, yeah. Ben Affleck's Air, the Michael Jordan shoe movie. It would have ranked higher, but like it was a movie that I just kind of forgot about at a certain point because the story is so simple.
Yeah.
But I thought it was well directed. I thought it was well acted, and it's kind of, every once in a while I get like the instinct or the curiosity to want to see that corporate side of just how deals are made. Even if it's not the most accurate. So
movies like that are fun. Like they're fun.
Yeah.
And especially when they can get a good cast, and generally there's kind of an energetic, kind of kinetic rhythm to them. And it's just kind of pleasing on that level. Like I think Matt Damon is really good in it.
I could tell the whole cast got along. That's the important thing.
It was like you could tell they were having fun making it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I have last two here, Good Burger 2, which
I haven't watched it because I is on in your honorable mentions?
yeah,
Wow.
no, I was laughing quite a bit at this, at how stupid it was.
I'm gonna have to
Uh,
try it now.
yeah, no,
Shit.
honestly, like, and I'm not nostalgic for the original Nickelodeon movie, but this one, I was actually laughing like quite a bit, seeing like these guys so much older.
How did you come? Well, I gotta understand this. Why did you decide to watch Good Burger? I can't even imagine you like ever watching that. That's crazy.
Because it's kind of still in my timeline a little bit. I would
Okay.
say my Nickelodeon journey started with the show All That, and then the
Yeah.
Amanda Show,
Sure.
and then on. Um, but these characters were all still relevant, and they're doing SNL, they're doing other
Hmm.
spin-off projects and things like that. So like
You just curious,
I
just
was
kind of
just
morbidly
curious,
curious. Yeah,
and
I get you.
honestly, like I was having a good time. Like I would say, like it's the same kind of dumb fun that you would have with like Kung Pao or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I think you
Okay.
could, yeah, Sean has been saying, take an edible and just like sit back and relax.
Seems like that would be
Yeah,
that. I would kind of have to do that with that. Yeah.
yeah. And then
Maybe.
my last,
I'm sorry. Go for it.
no, you go, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, yeah,
No, I would just like that's. I would definitely enjoy it if I did that because it wouldn't really matter at that point. But
right, right. And then my last one here is Saltburn, which I'm still kind of torn on in many aspects, but
I was gonna watch it before we recorded, and I
yeah,
never got a chance to. But Saltburn is okay. I can see that because I put actually, even though again it was kind of like Barbie. It's like I didn't really like the subtext, but I thought it was really
yeah,
well made. Was Promising Young Woman.
right, yeah.
And so is Saltburns, you find it to be like a worth checking out?
We're checking out, but yeah, but I think if you've seen Promising Young Woman, you might know a little bit of what you're kind of into, or
Yeah,
what you're going into, but it's also
I could
uh
tell.
a weird, yeah, yeah. It's just it's I would say it's like, in an odd way, it's like this year's Babylon, if you saw that film
I did. I
from the year
really
before. Yeah.
hated Babylon.
Right, right.
I did not like Babylon.
This is a much more like condensed version of that, I would say,
What do
with
you
a
mean in
with
terms of just like kind of wallowing in degeneracy? Is that what you mean?
yes,
I
yeah.
gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Trelling says Ridley Scott should have snuck in a Ziggy Piggy badge on Napoleon's jacket. Little callback to Bill and Ted there.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
We're ready to go. Holy shit. Now, I'm going to tell everybody normal episodes will not be this long because there's not going to be a reason to be. But we just have, we have had so much stuff to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's your number 10, Jeremy? You go first.
My number 10 is an Australian film called Beaten to Death, directed by Sam Curtin. It's about a desperate choice that leads a man named Jack down a path that leaves him beaten and bruised as he struggles against man, nature, and his own insanity. He's stranded in the middle of the Australian countryside after barely surviving a horrific assault. Jack encounters one local after another and quickly learns that a sick game of cat and mouse is about to begin. He's battling the deranged country psychos and the harsh landscape, and Jack must go to extreme lengths to survive. This is like a survival thriller that is completely like unrelentless, heart-pounding thrills right from the start. It's a solid 95 minutes.
Oh, nice.
Waste
Tight little.
Yeah, wastes no time. Honestly, it's way better than most horror movies that are coming out right now that seems to always want to be so strung up on trauma, uh, uh, just backstories or themes that are just so irrelevant nowadays, when really you can just tell a tight knit story that is brutal from the start. And the trauma, if you want to play in the trauma aspect, is actually happening in the moment. It's not something from the past.
Yeah, I got you. It's not an allegory for
Right.
going through something when you were a child, Jeremy.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
My mom was late to pick me up from school, and that's what sent me down this dark path.
Right. Right.
Now I need to deal with it. Trump says, "Oh, your review of Beaten to Death made me want to see it. I'm a fan of Australian horror in general. They're good with crime thrillers too. Yeah,
Yes,
and I like their aesthetic. Yeah, a lot of the stuff that comes out of there, like from Animal Kingdom, the Snowtown Murders,
There's Wolf Creek vibes to this one too.
Wolf Creek. Yeah, I could see that. Definitely could see that in there. That washed out kind of desert look.
Right.
Yeah, cool. I'll have to check that out. Beaten to Death.
Yeah.
My number 10 is Blackberry.
Oh wow. Okay.
I really like the director. I gotta look up his fucking name. Because it's late, guys. Matt Johnson, good Canadian guy. Been a fan of his work for years. He debuted with The Dirties, which I think is one of the best debuts I've ever seen of a contemporary director. And Project Avalanche, or Operation Avalanche, sorry, rather, which is about them faking the moon landing. It's like a found footage movie. It's really good. Really good. And he comes back and directs Blackberry, which I thought was like super entertaining. Just kind of light, fun. It's fun to see these actors play these roles. Glenn Howerton. I mean, I don't know if I would put him in Oscar contention or whatever, but I thought he was really good. He was fun.
It's a great flip side on. It's like a morbid retelling of like all these like inspiring biopics about like, you know, rising to the top with your next bit of technology, but it's just the downfall from that second half, you know.
And some of that, but like I really loved like the first half hour. Right, like the textual, like just them touching all the old computer stuff, and like it was really almost kind of nostalgic for me in a weird way.
Oh sure.
And
my dad had a BlackBerry. I remember growing up too. So it was like,
Well, my family, my dad and my uncles, like especially my uncle, worked for like one of the companies that actually like was the reasons why the internet was publicly available. And so I just always grew up around computer crap, like just computer parts and pieces and stuff. So it's just kind of cool to see that in the movie. Just kind of took me back to that time period. And I think the cast has great chemistry. Jay Baruchel, Glenn Howerton, and Matt Johnson. I think they all play off each other really well. Jay Baruchel is actually somebody I actually always really like seeing him in movies. I don't know why. I just enjoy him. Just enjoy his performances, his presence, I guess. Because I mean, at some point, he's just in old man makeup in this movie, and it kind of looks a little silly, but it's good.
But I think that even plays like he's a very high-strung, stressed-out character, and I think that aging also definitely plays into that.
100%, yeah,
plays into that for sure.
Tremlick says another country that is very good with crime thrillers and has been since the 50s is France. The modern ones don't get enough love. You know, you're right. I agree. Was it Run Lola Run? Is that French?
Hey, yes, yeah, that's a good example. Yeah, top 10 running movies. That's the one you gotta definitely check out.
There's a lot of great, actually, just noir movies from the like 50s and 60s from France. Actually, one of my favorites I've seen in the past few years, Le Samurai.
Yep, classic
rules, dude.
Yep.
Yeah,
another great literally movie.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, what's your number 9?
My number 9 is Ferrari, directed by Michael Mann, a biopic of automotive mogul Enzo Ferrari, whose family redefined the idea of the high-powered Italian sports car and practically spawned the concept of Formula One racing. Michael Mann still got it. That's the one thing I definitely noticed this time around.
Make you excited for Heat 2?
A little bit. But I don't know. Man.
Adam Driver's getting cast in that movie. We all know that now.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I really dug this though. I thought it was still, even though I will say Michael Mann is kind of given in a way like James Cameron into some of the more digital.
Yeah, but he's always been like that.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, this guy loves shooting on digital video too. You know, he loves the aesthetic. So I'll hand him to that.
Listen, I cannot go here with people with Michael Mann. I love Michael Mann. Don't get me wrong, but Miami Vice sucks. Stop trying to tell me it's good. Stop trying to tell me it's his best movie, you psychopaths.
Yeah.
Anyways, sorry, continue.
I can't back that. His best movie? Who's
they
actually
say it's his best movie. Like
Jeez.
sick people, dude. Sick fucks. Listen, we all know what his best movie is. It's fucking Heat. But you have to take Heat and then put it over here and then look at the rest of his movies, okay?
Right. Yeah.
Then we're probably talking Thief. I mean, actually, talk about
honestly,
audacious debuts. Thief is incredible.
Yeah.
A lot of that's James Caan, though. Oh, no, it's him. It's him. Never mind. I'm being an asshole.
That's both of them.
Caan is so good. It's such a great collaboration.
Yeah.
Probably my what is it? Would I say it's my first or second favorite James Caan performance? I don't know. The Gambler is also.
The Gambler is so up there with me. Like
an electric performance from Caan.
Right.
I mean, that thing is whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Trumping says Alan Delone is the ultimate cool guy. I want to see Adam Driver playing the Pacino part and going that big. So do I. And he's ready. You know, that's why he's been playing all these Italian roles.
Yeah.
You know, from Gucci, Ferrari.
Right.
Trembling says the Miami Vice Cope is real. It really is. It's sick. Trembling says Manhunter is my top man, to be honest, but I love almost all of his stuff. Manhunter is in the conversation. I thought Manhunter flashed in my mind before I said Thief, but that performance of Caan is so good in Thief. Like, I think it's got the edge because of Caan.
Yeah.
But Manhunter is underrated. That movie that's a vibe, dude. That's a vibe. And then you can go watch William Friedkin rip it off and To Live and Die in L.A.
Right.
Or rip off the vibe of it.
Yeah. My only other quick note before you get to your number 9 is Penelope Cruz, still a babe. Even in her heyday right now. And you know, I know we're ranking actresses. She's still a solid 10 for me. So that's all I'll say.
I want to make sure now. Every episode, we misogynistically objectify a woman.
Yes.
We just have to now.
Yeah.
My number 9 is The Pope's Exorcist. This is what I call the schlock spot. Okay, the schlock spot. There was some schlock that came out. Evil Dead Rise. The Pope's Exorcist. I know there was another one I'm thinking of, and it's eluding me at the moment. 65. Schlock. Adam Driver. But The Pope's Exorcist stands above all the rest as being the schlock masterpiece of 2023. I even spoke to one of the producers on Twitter, and he said that was one of the best compliments he ever got, was that he was so honored that I called it, like, and he was being sincere. He was like, "That's so awesome. It is a schlock masterpiece." This movie, it's not the greatest movie in the world, but it's got an energy to it that I just really adored. It's got like a Sam Raimi energy, and Russell Crowe's performance is incredible because I don't know if he knows what he's doing or not, but I like to think he knows, and he's modulating it for the movie that he knows he's in.
I'm loving this new genre of like Russell Crowe movies too, where he's just not embracing the schlock, whether he knows it or not, and just kind of rocking with it.
He was steady. It's amazing. I mean, The Pope's Exorcist is so much fun. It's like a fun movie. It goes completely off the rails at the end. It turns into like something more akin to Drag Me to Hell at some point, and it's a lot of fun. And you will never see the ending coming. At least I didn't.
Okay.
There is something that is so outrageous, so ridiculous, that I don't know how somebody could see it coming. I really don't. Trembling says, does Crow do an Adam Driver Italian accent? He does.
Hell yeah.
There's a scene where he's getting dressed down by a bunch of bishops for his rogue exorcisms that he gives. And he looks at the bishops and he's like, "You are not the boss of me. I only answer to the Pope." Oh, you know who the Pope is?
No, who's
fucking Franco Nero, the original general.
No, actually,
yes,
holy
that's what I'm talking about. It's a schlock masterpiece.
Oh
dude.
my god. Okay, all right. I'm watching this now.
Yeah, it's fun.
Sure.
It's a fun movie, man.
Yeah.
It was on Netflix a while ago. I don't know if it still is.
Because they have that new Django series coming out very soon that he's supposed to like pop in.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
But it's like,
Dude, I saw the original Django for the first time like 2 years
Yeah.
ago, and blew my socks off. I had no idea to
Right.
expect a movie that good.
Oh yeah.
It was so entertaining, dude.
Yeah. You
I
should
actually,
watch.
it was a movie I watched twice in the same day. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah. Actually, like a movie I do want to cover eventually on Fleet Pit once we not get all the other ones that are still in the back burner. A movie called Hitchhike with Franco Nero, if you ever, and David Hess, if you ever
Ooh, it
have.
sounds. I think I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And if David Hess is in it, I definitely want to watch it.
Oh yeah, it's worth it.
All right, cool.
I think you'll probably even just watch a free version of it on YouTube, to be honest.
Oh,
but-
I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Franco Nero says, giving an Enter the Ninja smile to camera as the Pope. Almost.
Yeah.
Almost, dude. Oh my God. I don't want to spoil it. It's so good.
Right.
It's so ridiculous. It's another movie I would suggest. Have a drink, take an edibles, smoke something, and just go along just go where that movie wants to take you, and you're going to have fun.
It's gonna be my good burger too. I'm gonna just kick back and enjoy
Actually,
it.
yeah. All right. What's your number 8, Jeremy?
Number 8. It might surprise some people that it's like this higher up in the list because I know everybody's like putting in different margins, but Oppenheimer,
Okay.
Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer, which I saw very, very late. I was not on the Barbenheimer craze bus or whatnot. I was a sane man. I avoided all of that. Halfway, I watched Barbie, but I didn't, but no, I'm glad I finally watched it. I just didn't get the IMAX.
The experience, sure.
Yeah. But no, this is probably one of Nolan's, at least in terms of filming and editing style. Like this is probably one of his strongest efforts. Probably in the last
his whole
few
career,
years.
his whole career has led up to this movie.
Yes, yeah.
And
it is a film that really does feel like the essence of how stressful it is to even just make a movie. Like you have your whole crew assembled here. Everybody's got a role. They've got like something that's very distinct to do.
Yeah.
And even then it's like something could just go wrong and somebody's going to be held accountable, or somebody's just going to like we're seeing right now today with Hollywood, like somebody's going to pull a few strings and try to get you canceled or something like that. I think it unironically speaks to that too.
In a certain way, it does. It does.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost kind of proves that like the human experience just isn't that different, no matter what time you kind of examine it.
Right.
We kind of the impulses may be augmented by different things in the modern era, but at the end of the day, we have these base primal instincts that we are kind of stuck with. Well, I can't talk about Oppenheimer right now. I just can't.
Yeah.
Can't do it. Can't
wait
be
till
done.
we will. Further down.
Is that all you got to say? I mean, we're going to talk about it again. So
I'll just my one issue with the movie. We'll get into this maybe a little bit more later, but as much as I love this crazy ensemble of a cast, it is a little overstuffed. I can't really get attached to most of the characters, if at all, whether that's the intention or not. Like I was just kind of like,
it has the Nolan issue where it's cold and distant.
Yes,
and that it's
a little overwritten sometimes too.
It's a little overwritten, and it's he's not trying to do with a character. It's not a character piece. I know it's called Oppenheimer and it's about him, but it's really not about him. It's about everything surrounding him.
Yeah.
And his legacy. It's really what it's trying to contend with. And yeah, we'll talk about it a little bit more.
Yeah.
My number 8 is Infinity Pool. Like Jeremy said, Jeremy and I have discussed Infinity Pool on a separate video on our YouTube channel, and you can go check it out there. But
have you come around?
I can't stop.
Movie?
I think about it a lot.
Okay.
So I give it a little bit of an edge because I thought about it a lot, which may seem like a weird way to judge these things or weird rubric, but like most movies I see do not make me think of anything. In fact, I don't even remember that I watched them. I have to put them on Letterboxd for posterity so I remember what I've seen. But Infinity Pool has stuck with me. There is something about it. I really love I love the aesthetic of the movie. I like the tone of the movie a lot. I like the performances. I think Mia Goth's really good. Skarsgård is the perfect empty vessel, as he is in pretty much everything he's in. And it's, because it's just like a big allegory movie. So, it's doing what science fiction does. It's, kind of commenting on the modern moment a little bit and about fame and celebrity and decadence and rich people and capitalism and all that good stuff. Like all these fucking rich people like to talk about. Yeah, didn't you love that? Like rich people, they have our backs so much, Jeremy.
So lovely.
They're so nice. So they just
endearing.
Complain about our economic system because they're like, oh, I guess it's just worked out too well for you.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's all I gotta say about it. I do like it though. I think it's interesting, and it pairs very well with another Brandon Cronenberg movie called Viral.
Right.
It actually pairs very well with that movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I will say in his father's footsteps still too, it does have that like level of coldness and distance the characters kind of bring in most of their stories. Really, it's kind of a staple for both of them.
I would say I think Possessor is still probably the best thing he's done. Still.
Okay,
I think Possessor is better than Infinity Pool. But Possessor the year it came out was also on my best of list, so it tracks. It tracks. Right. Okay, Jeremy, what's your number 7?
My number 7, also one I don't see on people's lists typically, is a film called Desperation Road. I
heard about this.
Director Nadine Crocker. It's about ex-con Russell Gaines, who is attempting to rebuild his life with the help of his father, Mitchell. However, the arrival of Mobin sends his new life into chaos, leading the prior to go on the run. As their violent past catch up to them, the pair must learn to trust each other if they hope to live out the rest of their days. This was like one of those direct to video
it's a Redbox movie.
Redbox Mel Gibson movies, but I wound up really kind of liking.
Oh, cool.
The whole cast is actually like really good. Just all around I liked the characters. I think the main antagonist especially, he's a character actor I've seen in the show Bates Motel. He gives probably the best performance in the whole thing, and it's really tragic actually when you see him come to like such brutal lengths to tear everything apart in his life and lose himself. But no, all the performances are great. I think it's a first-time director. Mel Gibson's great in the role. Like he just seems like he's a natural for this kind of stuff at this point. We'll just take the work. A little bit.
He's not. It's not right, but it's what's going on.
But no, I found myself really. It's brutal where it needs to be.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I'll definitely check this out because I have almost a legal obligation to watch things that Mel Gibson makes or is in. I'll watch pretty much anything he's in.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely watch this, and I'm glad to hear that it's good. Because they're not surprised. All bad. They're not all bad. Like, some of them are okay. Like Bloodfather was okay.
Yeah.
The one. Did you see the one with the radio show? He's like the radio. DJ.
I heard you guys didn't like it. Yeah. So I just skipped. Yeah.
I mean, I watch. If you like Mel Gibson, watch it. But it's not good. It's not good. But yeah, he gives a weird performance. It's a very weird performance. But
yeah.
My number 7 is The Iron Claw, which I saw recently. Sean Durkin's new movie. He had previously directed Martha, Marcy, May, Marlene. He also directed and produced the remake of Dead Ringers, or the reimagining, I suppose, that came out this past year for Amazon, which was okay. I actually didn't mention it, but I had it written down. I really hated the first episode, and it's like 6 episodes, and but it kind of won me over by the end.
Okay.
I ended up kind of enjoying it. But this is really good. It's just kind of a very tragic and heartwarming story at the same time. Perfectly cast. Pitch perfectly cast. If I have one note, Or one piece of advice would be: do not look up the real story until the movie is over.
That's what everybody's saying. Like, don't.
It takes a lot of
Yeah.
liberties, and
Right.
some of them are kind of egregious in a way that made me very conflicted about including it on my list and not just putting it in honorable mentions, because it wants to do the toxic masculinity conversation, and it has to lie about their real lives to do it, and and it has to kind of demonize their parents in a way that is not true to do it.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like a little gross when I heard about that, but as a movie on its own, it's very good. Very good. I can't believe that I would like Zac Efron to get like an award for his performance, because he's great.
He's
Great
getting
in the
up
movie.
there. I mean, he's really branched out of that whole
The pretty boy stuff, yeah.
the pretty boy Disney stuff. You know, he's just yeah, he's
Well,
really
dude,
just trying to
They were dedicated, dude. I mean, the physicality of the characters, just everything that went into this. Just really enjoyed it. I said, I think my review is: I laughed, I cried, I called my brother.
Nice.
Like, that's how it made me feel.
Yeah. This was one of the major ones I missed out on. So hopefully I'll get around to seeing it soon.
Oh, it's totally worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely give it a try once it's out.
My number
you're number 6. Yeah.
My number 6, and this might be the final one. I don't think anybody will have on their list. Maybe it depends on like how art house you're going, but it's a movie called Totem, directed by Lila Aviles. In a bustling Mexican household, a 7-year-old girl named Sol is swept up in a whirlwind of preparations for the birthday party for her father, Tona, led by her mother, aunts, and other relatives. As the day goes on, building to an event both anticipated and dreaded, Sol begins to understand the gravity of the celebration this year and watches as her family does the same. And it's kind of like this slow digression into something darker that's kind of going on in the background that only a child would not be able to pick up on unless it's explained to her, because it's all through her eyes. This is shot in a very, very naturalistic documentarian sort of style, which I like appealed to me very quickly. It reminded me of this other British film. It's like a British orphan that like winds up at like this weird workhouse with a bunch of people that kind of adopt her or whatever years ago. But basically you're seeing
this. You talking about Annie?
Well, it's yeah, I know, right? Yeah, it's a hard knock life,
The way you describe this is almost the way a person could describe Skinamarink. But anyways, continue.
Right. Only I can see what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's just Skinamarink if you tilt the camera like a normal person, if you frame things correctly.
Yeah. No, but it's just a very relaxed and flow, just slice of life. I can see people not liking this, thinking like, oh, this could just be a music video. This could be just a portfolio for somebody to get really cool camera shots.
Now that I am looking at it, it does look like it could be like the Killers music video.
right, yeah.
When you were young.
Yeah. No, but I stuck with it. It's not terribly long or anything.
Looks interesting. I like stuff like that.
I guess I've become such a family guy. Not the family.
No, I know. Family orientated.
Yes,
like just the idea about connection and stuff.
Yeah. Right. So I appreciate it for that. So
it's great. It sounds really great. I'm gonna put it on my list to check out for sure. Yeah. My number 6 is Killers of the Flower Moon. What can I say, boys? Scorsese, don't miss. Okay. A lot of people did not like this movie. You know what's weird? There's the segment. I think we have a lot of mutual people we follow and that follow us on Twitter that really hate Martin Scorsese. Really dislike him,
or hate what he's become, or whatever.
No, I think
that means.
They don't like him because they think. I think the critique is that he's very like amoral.
Yeah.
About the way he tells his stories. That seems to be the sense I get. I could be wrong. And if any of you guys are out there watching, listening, or here in the future, please reach out and correct me. But I've always found it weird. But anyways, I really love this movie. I really enjoyed it. I am in the camp of people that don't think it was too long. I thought it was actually
No.
a very quick 3.5 hours, surprisingly
Yeah.
enough. I am actually can't wait to watch it again, but the length has deterred me. I will say that. I even have Apple TV for right now, and I was gonna pop. It's on there now, and I was gonna pop it in. I was like, oh, sick. I'll watch this, and then I looked at the time. I'm like, oh, it's 11:30. I can't start this now. Like, but yeah, I really liked it a lot. I think DiCaprio has mastered the dimwit, like dipshit characters that are also like evil but also lovable, and he can kind of balance all of these personality traits very well. This is the best Robert De Niro's been in 15 years.
Oh, without a doubt, absolutely.
And I like the Irishman as well, which is another movie a lot of people don't like. I like the Irishman as well, but he is so good in this. This is like he's given the first time he's given a performance in a while. You know what I mean? And Lily Gladstone is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I think people are kind of playing it up a little bit, but I can't stand Lily Gladstone though. She is insufferable. I cannot wait for Emma Stone to beat her so that we can hear her complain about it for 2 years. Because it's happening, Jeremy. The signals the smoke has gone up. Emma Stone won like the Critics' Choice Award or something. That's supposed to be the harbinger of who wins the Academy Award. Lily Stone about to be Lily Madstone. Okay, Lily Gladstone to Lily Madstone.
Somebody is getting stoned at these award shows. So.
All I'm saying. All references available at louderwithcrowder.com. But yeah, that's all I have to say about it. I just think it's a very solid movie. I can understand some of the complaints, but I think this is actually one that I wouldn't mind like watching a couple more times and having a very thorough discussion about, because it has so many great things in it. There's so many great little performances. There's so many great little sequences. There's so many great little shots. It's kind of got a little bit of everything. And, but I do understand people's complaints about it, but it just didn't bother me. What's your number 5, Jeremy?
This segues perfectly because Killers of the Flower Moon is my number 5.
There we go.
To add to what you said, actually, yeah, we might have brought it up before, but again, the complaints from both ends of the aisle don't make any sense to me. To call Scorsese this sort of white knight figure telling the story, and then to also criticize him for being too woke, both don't make any sense. When you watch it.
I want to. I know I'm going to
except for the ending.
We have to address this because I should have addressed this as well.
Right.
Martin Scorsese basically excoriating himself for making the movie at the end of the movie is cringe. It's pathetic.
Yes,
I agree with people. If that derails the movie for you, I totally understand.
Yes,
I thought that it was such a cop out to what. Dude, they just spent a bunch of time with the tribal people, and they really got gaslit.
No, yeah, that's the conflicting thing about that very ending. I love the style that they really do put you in that time period and really trying to describe it. But then it's like, yeah, again, like you said, we spent all this time with these characters. Why not just tell it in that natural form if you have to, and not have somebody like Scorsese come out and like. Well, make these like closing statements,
He's fucking apologizing for making the movie.
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
It's gross because in a way. It's
just like, if I was that tribe, their story is going to live on way longer than it ever would have. It hadn't Scorsese made a movie about them.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? Like, I thought it was really important. I addressed the audience as the director of the film. I was like, I cannot. I was listening to an interview and I was just like, dude,
no,
what the fuck?
You don't have to. You don't.
Scorsese, you don't have to apologize for your art. Like, it's so disgusting. But anyways, but yes, I found that very disappointing, and I understand if that ruins the movie for people.
Right.
But anyways, the floor is yours. I'm sorry.
No. I mean, but this is like, apart from all of that, like, this is classic Marty, just like on full tilt, like knowing what he's doing, even in his age, even when he doesn't feel like he probably has enough or any more movies in him. And I know he's got to do this Jesus movie coming out this year, maybe. We don't even know, but that he's working on.
Well, he's shooting it this year.
Yeah. Um, yeah, the guy's still got it. You know, at the end of the
He
day,
does.
I like this a lot more than The Irishman in many ways.
I think it's definitely better than The Irishman. I agree.
Yeah. And just everybody's bringing their A game. Like you said, even like De Niro, it's like when he's like attached to a Scorsese picture, like it's like he's back into acting mode again. He's not like mauling
Yeah, he
around.
cares. He
Not
cares.
yeah. Right. This is his friend, you know. He's not gonna like phone it in or anything. Yeah. No, honestly, like I'm and you don't feel the length for I didn't, at least when I watched it, because it's edited at such this like really brisk, almost montagey pace at points where it just keeps going and keeps going. I would have liked, this is my one gripe at the moment, is that I would have liked more scenes with Leo and Lily Gladstone and just the whole family dynamic, because
Sure.
I didn't care about the drama, especially when it comes to certain characters dying, because we didn't really get to experience or spend any
It's
sort of
there for
time.
the historical record, the context of what's going on.
Right.
I would agree with you here. It doesn't do a great job of tracking the passage of time.
Yeah.
And you're sometimes it can be actually a little mildly, like it takes you a second to figure out, like, to orientate yourself, like, oh, this is like 10 years later. And part of that is the casting of DiCaprio. DiCaprio is actually just too old, technically, to play this part.
Right.
He's supposed to be like in his late 20s. Although, if you think about the time period, people did age pretty hard back then. I mean, a DiCaprio 48 might be a 1922, 28, you know?
Yeah.
He takes care of himself. He uses skincare products.
Right.
They didn't have that back then. They all looked like they were 48 when they were 28. So I'm just saying, another feather in its cap. Good job, Marty.
Yeah.
No, but because DiCaprio never changes, like visibly, it's hard to see like the passage of time sometimes. So I actually got me kind of tripped up a few times. So I was like, thought I was misunderstanding something. I was like, did I miss something? Like, did I like fall asleep? And but anyways.
Yeah. No, yeah, solid film all around. That's all. Yeah, all I'll say. So, and yeah, for the detractors, even the people in our circles, like, simmer down. You're gonna be okay.
Stop being so gay about it.
Right. Yeah.
Get on the Scorsese train, dude.
Every like side left aisle or whatever. I like. Dude is not like your messiah of filmmaking. I mean, come on.
Listen, he should be though. He's Catholic. Maybe. He's Catholic, for Christ's sakes.
Well, then I defend him. But
yeah.
Yeah.
You fucking Mormons.
Yeah.
I'm Catholic. Jeremy's. Well, I was raised Catholic. All right, my number 5 is David Fincher's The Killer. I really enjoyed The Killer.
Yeah.
I agree. You had kind of spoken about it a little bit earlier when you were talking about it in your honorable mentions. I think it is a very Fincher movie, but it's a very tight Fincher movie. It's probably, it's like his least indulgent in a while. And it's very kind of meat and potatoes in a weird way. I think a lot of people miss how funny the movie is, because it does not clue you into any time that it's making a joke. You're just supposed to catch it. You're supposed to be familiar with these kinds of characters. I do know that it is an adaptation, and it's based on a French comic book. So I can't speak to how accurate it is or not, but I don't know. I just really loved it. I loved the vibe of the movie. I loved Fassbender's performance. I thought Tilda Swinton was really good when she showed up. Pretty much just all around, everybody was really great, like they usually are in Fincher movies. And I kind of like that even Fincher in a weird way is like poking fun at himself, because the character sees himself as a Fincher type, but isn't, because he keeps fucking up.
Did it ever feel very video gamey to you ever?
Yeah, I think that's a fair criticism. I don't know. I think something about just modern action movies that are kind of feel like that.
Yeah. I was getting like Hitman, a little bit of Max Payne vibes from it, just a little bit. I don't know if that's like
actually Fincher would have killed the Hitman movie if they made a Hitman movie like this. I've been down.
Right. Yeah.
Um, I don't know. It's a movie. It's kind of hard to. I have a hard time articulating why I like it so much.
Right.
I just really like David Fincher, and it is a David Fincher movie, and I like that. I don't think I can really qualify it in any way that, like, I think either you're gonna like it or you're not. I didn't expect this to be as polarizing as it was. Like, people either bounced really hard off it or really loved it. I didn't see too many people in the middle, except for you.
Yeah,
You
and
son of a bitch.
I liked it fine. I'm with you. Yeah.
Look at this guy. He liked it fine, but he puts it in his honorable mentions. What a sicko.
Let's call it quits here. We're done.
Yeah, we're done. You know what, guys? Ghost of the Movies Live was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But now we're done. All right, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Beau's Afraid, directed by Ari Aster, which, a movie I can't stop
Thinking about.
You know, like at the end of the day, I think it's got problems. I don't think a lot of it really works at all, but it's one of these few films where I'm like,
no, but it does.
I'm okay with just going along with the ride.
It's like it works, but it's pure allegory. And
Yeah,
it's really hard to get invested in stuff like that.
Yeah,
and it's long, so it's really a test. Although I gotta say, dude, like the last act really kicks it up.
Oh, I mean, it just gets wild. And
that's my needle drop of the year.
Yeah,
with the Mariah Carey song,
right?
Sweet Fantasy.
I would say the first third of the movie is probably still the strongest, though. Especially, I mean,
because it has a narrative.
It has a narrative. It has a goal in a way,
it's
like being
Mother.
presented. Yeah,
it's fucking like Aronofsky's Mother.
Right.
It's kind of what it turns into.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert, everybody.
Yeah, and it's high octane stress throughout. Even like Joaquin Phoenix, being completely coerced into like taking like huge drags of like marijuana, like that stressed me out because I've been in situations like
been there.
Yeah, and I'm just like, oh,
I have also had giant swollen balls.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
cucumber size or not cucumber size. That'd be a little weird.
Yeah,
cantaloupe sized balls.
Right.
Austin says, I'll have to see all these. I have a bad habit of not going to the movies. Oh, shit. Well, buddy, you got to start going. You know what you got to do? You got to start hinting to your family that you would like gift cards to movie theaters. And then hopefully on a holiday or a birthday, the seeds will be planted that you've planted will produce fruit. And I hope this for you more than anything else in the entire world. I want you to go to the movies. My friend. Traveling says, give me a Fincher Splinter Cell. That would be sick. I could see that, actually. They get him in, like, populist, like, World War Z mode. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't direct World War Z, but he was very highly involved with it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, Beau's it really is dependent on how Ari Aster kind of how it works for the viewer, I guess. Like, you just have to kind of understand that he's definitely making these. A film like this is much more ambitious, where it's definitely in his head, and you're not going to be able to align all. You can interpret it how you want, but you're probably not going to be on the same page as him.
It's like neurotic anxiety nightmares.
Right.
It just one after another. And they're all, and the thing that makes it relatable is that, like, they are identifiable social situations that we've all been experienced a version of. Yeah. So, and I'm a little neurotic, so it really
it gets to you.
It gets to me a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about it one more time, so we'll talk about it a little bit.
Right.
My number 4 is John Wick Chapter 4. I think it is too much. I agree with all the criticisms, and I don't care. I really loved it. I think this has some of the best action set pieces. I don't know, since The Raid or The Raid 2, maybe.
That's the best comparison, honestly, right now is the Raid franchise.
Yeah, because it's the same style of stunt work and stuff like that. I mean, the Raid's a little bit more hand-to-hand physical stuff. It's a little less of the gun fu, because they actually kind of created that for John Wick.
Yeah.
That's Chad Stiletzky's own thing, I believe. I just think it's a banger, dude. Like, and I can understand everybody's criticisms, but I don't know why. I just love it. Like, it's just, it makes me feel good to watch it. I've watched this movie like probably 15 times. Well, not watching it, but it's been on. I bought that 4K, which one of the best looking 4Ks of the year. Okay.
Yeah.
I loved all of the sequence. Scott Adkins is the fat Russian dude, and like that whole the nightclub sequences. Tremling says, I love the top down sequence with the flame shotgun. Yeah, the Miami, or not the Miami Vice, what's the video game called? Hotline Miami.
Right.
The Hotline Miami part. Yeah, it was awesome.
You know what? I think part of what the appeal to the John Wick franchise as well, which I think is much more of, even like a much more like Japanese custom though too, but just this whole thing with this like universal honor code amongst everybody.
Oh my god, a hero of principle.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, how dare they?
Right. Yeah. No, but like everybody has like a little bit of respect for each other, even though they're like they could be their worst enemy.
Yes. You have like it's etiquette.
It's right.
It's gentleman's rules, dude.
Yeah.
And that's what's awesome about it.
Right. And that's just not true to American culture. If you want to, I don't know. You want to break it down.
It's not. It's because we're not allowed to have heroes like this anymore. Like John Wick is, John Wick gets away with it because he's like a nihilist, empty husk.
Yeah.
He's a death machine. That's all he is.
He's the boogeyman.
I mean, honestly, I'll be honest with you. They should have never have made sequels to John Wick, but they did.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that, kind of broadly speaking. But John Wick 1 is a fantastic, just tight, 90-minute, perfectly executed direct-to-video action movie.
Yeah.
And it's got a little extra magic that those movies don't have. I actually disagree. I am not a fan of the world of John Wick. I think the more that has been revealed with every onion layer that has been pulled back, it has gotten dumber and more contrived and just sillier and farther away from what it was. Also, I agree with everybody's criticisms about John Wick. If he's Baba Yaga, seems like anybody will fight this motherfucker. Anybody will take a go at him. I agree with you. I think it's gotten a little silly as well. Yeah. But I just like the visceral experience of it. Like if I were to rank the John Wick movies, it would be 1, 2, 4, 3. And 3 is the most lore heavy. 3 is the one that has the most about the world. Like I watched the Continental. Did you watch the Continental?
I started it. I couldn't get into it.
Yeah, me neither. I watched the first 1.5 or the first episode. I was just like, whatever. I'm just not into this. Even Mel Gibson couldn't keep me in.
No, yeah. I just I tried.
The ballerina movie with beautiful Ana de Armas, a definite 10 for me, by the way. She's
no complaints there.
The ballerina, like, I don't care about this. I don't want to watch this. Yeah. I'm not going to. Trembling also says, reminded me big time of Hotline Miami. He says the Warriors reference was cool too. I don't recall the Warriors reference. I probably will if you were to tell me. Austin said Godzilla -1 had very human, very heroic characters. Felt like a throwback. Oh, I think we're gonna talk about it, but that's from Japan. There. That's from Japan. They're allowed to be positive about their people and their country. You're not allowed to do that in America. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is The Holdovers, actually. So,
cool.
By Alexander Payne, who I've actually most of his work that I've seen, I've always liked. No, I was just kind of taken aback by how even for like the R-rated rambunctious nature of the comedy that it was, like it was very wholesome. Like through and through.
Wholesome. Giamatti's great in it too.
Yeah, he's wonderful.
And
There's a couple.
Joy Divine too. She's also really good. Like
Yes,
they deserve the accolades they're getting right now. Like they're actually
honestly,
really great stuff.
I don't think, Paul Giamatti's actually ever gotten like has he ever gotten? He's been nominated, right,
He
for an
must have.
Oscar,
I don't know. I'll look it
but
up.
I don't think he's ever actually gotten an award. And this isn't like against type. He is, from what I hear, like in real life, he is kind of a bit of a curmudgeon, and this is
Yeah,
not a hard role for him to
he
play.
actually seems very down to earth.
Yeah, yeah.
He's been on the interview circuit, and he's been talking about Planet of the Apes for some reason.
Yeah,
And he's told the story like 5 times, but he's just like,
yeah.
his agent was like, "Why do you want to be one of the apes? Like nobody will be able to see your face. Like you're just starting out. Like this is like when he was making like Big Fat Liar with like Freddie Muntz or whatever. So he's just starting in his career." And he says, "If you tell those people that I want to be a human in Planet of the Apes, I will fucking kill you."
All right.
I think he might have gotten nominated for Sideways.
Okay, another Alexander.
Another Alexander Payne movie.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think overall, like, I watched it like well after the holidays, but like I was still kind of feeling back in that holiday spirit that was definitely missing in 2023 for me,
Gotcha.
personally. But no, and the younger guy, this new up and coming actor, he was really solid too. He brought like kind of a somebody said it well, like kind of just like an interesting sort of Gen Z sort of edge to it that like you don't see as often in a lot of these other movies.
Yeah, I thought he was like kind of a relatable, fucked up teenager.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did like, yeah. And that's the thing, like with the casting, like with a lot of Payne's work, is that like you can definitely recognize these kinds of people. That's what David Gordon Green's so good about too. Is just like just like the oddball, just like everyman.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I had that same feeling, the kind of warm feeling. Because also, it takes place where I grew up, and they filmed a lot of it around where I grew up. So
yeah,
in the places I had visited as a young man.
Yeah.
So that was it was kind of fun for me, just on that level too.
I laughed at I laughed at the moment too with the one kid that before the other kids take off in the helicopter and whatnot, but the one kid that like opens up about being a Mormon or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, what is that? Is that like some sort of like new age religion shit?" Or yeah.
Yeah, I did actually. When I heard that, I thought of you.
Right. Yeah.
Trelling says the Warriors reference was in Paris. The black lady on the radio telling the assassins where Wick was, like in the Warriors, and played "Nowhere to Run" song. I cannot believe I did not fucking register. You know what, Trembling? Fuck you for making me look bad right now. You know what's crazy? Speaking of the Warriors, Jeremy, that fucking, oh yeah, dude.
Oh,
got that Arrow 4K. Oh. It's nice, boys.
You gotta be like wiping that clean every like 10 seconds and like keep it on display. Like it's got under like a golden light. Don't touch it,
dude. It's this. Yeah. I will say, dude, Arrow's like limited edition ones when you buy them when they first come out.
Yeah, are
always nice. I mean, it's got a book. It's got a double-sided poster with the original poster. Mm-hmm. Dude, I'm creaming. I'm actually gonna get. I think I'm gonna put it behind me. I'm gonna get it. I can't wait, and I'm super stoked. So I think the last thing I'm gonna buy for a long time, but the Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer 4K set from Arrow.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like I'm looking at
that shit immediately.
Yep.
Get it now. It's like $45 on Amazon if you have the cash.
I'm trying to get my brother-in-law right now into Conan because he's really big on the Lord of the Rings fantasy scene.
Oh, yeah.
But like he's never seen Arnold Schwarzenegger's Conan the Barbarian before, so I'm like, dude, you're on for another level, like because he makes YouTube videos for a living right now.
Cool.
and it would fit in theme with what he's working on at the moment. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, dude. See, that's exciting. That's one of the best things about being a movie nerd is introducing other people to things you love.
right.
And it's always fun. I used to do that to my friends all the time. Then I'd like watch them watching the movie.
Yeah.
What do you think?
You're not even looking at the movie. You're just like
Cape Fear does rule, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Big Paul. Yeah, Big Paul has got to thank me. It's the only reason why that man has any taste.
Yeah, Big Paul's got to change his views on It's a Wonderful Life. I wasn't a big
you
fan.
remember that? Can you believe that bullshit?
Yeah.
I think it's funny. I've done it. I think I've done it every year since then. I do like the callback, and now we're like 4 layers of callback deep.
Right.
Trump says the Milius and Arnold commentary is funny. Oh, it's legendary. It's really funny.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I was going to pitch to you for an episode idea? Like top 5 commentaries. That'd be fun.
Oh, all right. Yeah, absolutely.
You know that Milius and Arnold one would might make it because that is some silly shit. There's Arnold Schwarzenegger. He introduces himself as Richard Simmons in the commentary track, and he's like, and if you believe that, I have a bridge somewhere to sell you or something like that. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny because it's so stupid.
Yeah.
Anyways, my number 3, Godzilla -1. Godzilla -1, man. What a picture. What a picture. What a fucking great time at the movie theater. Let me tell you what. This was number 1. It was number 2. Ended up being at number 3. But I got to say, very easily, I would say these top 3 you could interchange them maybe depending on my mood. This is like all the different sides of my personality are represented in these top 3 movies. Godzilla -1 is an epic. It is the second best Godzilla movie. Just because you can't be better than the original. It's not possible because you don't exist without the original. But it gets pretty damn near.
Right.
And it does it while being sincere and earnest. It has like a positive message. It is about overcoming your personality flaws and overcoming your fears and kind of growing up. It's kind of almost a coming of age story in a lot of ways, in the ways that like the main character kind of grows up through this process of facing Godzilla over and over again, which is like a metaphor for his failure, which is also a broader metaphor for Japan losing the war.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, what a picture, dude! What a picture! Like it just from the jump. From the jump, the first scene is incredible.
Right.
I couldn't believe what I was watching. I could not believe I was watching a Godzilla movie that was this fucking good. Because if people don't know, I watch Godzilla movies all the goddamn time. Every fucking era of Godzilla movie. My 6-year-old son loves Godzilla. It is not weird at the drop of a hat just to be watching a Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
And I'll say this. I like them, but I know that they're not great. I know I understand what people like about them, etc., but most of them are not good. It's just what it is, guys.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with liking goofy, silly bullshit.
Schlock. Yeah.
Because I like schlock too, right?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, some of those Godzilla movies really test you. I'll tell you. They're boring as fuck. Tell me how you really feel. See, I'm like traumatized.
Right.
So I'm forced to watch them all the time. Not really. A little bit. But yeah, I could not believe I was watching one this good. I just never thought I would see that. I thought like Shin Godzilla is really good, but it's good for a very different reason.
Yeah.
Because it's more of a satire of Japanese bureaucracy. And they use Godzilla as a stand-in for Fukushima and it being kind of a force of nature, slow-rolling natural disaster, right?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, sorry. Were you gonna say something?
I'll say this is great because this bleeds into my number 2 actually too, Godzilla -1. So we can keep carrying on here with it. But but this carries over. I think you could convert somebody that is just not a Godzilla fan, a Toho fan, or even a fan of the American versions that have been coming out. You could probably convince them that this is like a decent film, and they would probably actually be on board with it.
Yeah, it's just a good movie.
It's just a good movie. Yeah, on that front. like you, like I was just so taken aback by how out of nowhere this film came. And I like Shin Godzilla fine. I when I saw it, like it was kind of cool to see that with a big crowd and like Toho making this big epic return and whatnot. But
Oh,
this was
can I ask you a quick
yeah,
question?
yeah.
How did the audience respond to Shin Godzilla? Because I can't imagine people went into that expecting like a comedy satire, which is kind of what it is.
No, it was not yeah, not anything comedic, or I mean they were all just kind of applauding it or just going like,
Well,
you
because
know,
it's not like a Godzilla movie.
right,
It's
right.
about the mechanics of what happens in government when they have to deal with Godzilla.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
Godzilla is just there,
Yeah.
slowly moving.
Yeah. And that's my issue a little bit with that film, is that like I've seen this already at this point.
Sure, yeah.
We've been there, done that at this point. Red tape, we can throw that out the water now. It's not gonna like
I'm
be
partial
in
to it
it.
because the director is Hideaki Anno, the guy who did created Neon Genesis Evangelion.
That's right. I think he also was involved with the Attack on Titan live action movies. I haven't seen them, but
I haven't seen them either.
yeah.
I've seen a lot of the show, but I haven't seen the movies.
Yeah. But apart from that, I hate that I'm like such a softie right now, but like it did kind of bring like a weird tear to my eye.
Dude.
When I saw just like this community coming together, like, oh, we're gonna stop Godzilla. We're not gonna have the government come in and like tell us how to do this. We're doing it ourselves.
Dude, I
because
cried
we all
like 4 times in that movie.
right.
I was like, holy shit.
It was
I'm, like,
embarrassing.
I was like wiping tears away. I'm like looking around because
Yeah.
the theaters are actually kind of full.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like over here sobbing. I'm like, just like, oh, shit.
It's beautiful in a way. You're like,
It was. There's heartbreaking moments. There's beautiful moments. Like,
yeah,
I mean, even the end. The end. Listen, I'm not going to spoil it,
yeah,
but there's a saccharine moment that could have hit completely the wrong way. It could have been too much, too corny. But this movie earns it, dude, and you are so happy when
Right.
it happens.
yeah. You're like, yes,
Yes.
you're not fucking doom pilled like the rest of us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
It's like watching a doomer get saved.
yeah.
That's the character. It's watching a fucking. It's like watching if people watch Nightcap, they'll understand this reference. DBDR. If we could save DBDR, that's how beautiful it would be. You'd cry too.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, I mean just there's been the occasional, I guess not really since the original Godzilla, this attention to detail with the human characters and their story arc. But it's just done so naturally here, and it's not like it's not over the top. It's not even under the top. It's just very, everybody's recognizable, and everybody, you care about everybody.
Well, it is very it's built on very sturdy archetypal legs.
Yeah,
like you said, like every character is kind of identifiable, and through the casting and the performances, like they don't have to actually do a lot with them for you to immediately kind of understand what they're all about.
Right.
Like I guess the writing and the actors are just good enough; they just can kind of convey it naturally. And it is able to kind of keep everything feeling like what's going on. You know who all these people. You like everybody. That was another crazy thing. Like you like everybody. I don't think there's a character that's like Is there even a character that's like a bully or anything like that? Like no.
No. I mean, there's like conflict between certain characters, but like they find ways to overcome it. Yeah,
they get over it and they become
Yeah.
a family, for lack of a better way to put it.
Yeah.
They come together as a community. I was, because usually there's just some shitty character there.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
But not here though.
And the other big thing too, and this is again like quintessential Godzilla at the end of the day. Like I love, don't get me wrong, I enjoy the schlock of other monsters coming in to distract him, to get into big brawls and whatnot, and maybe even give or take a monster may die or something like that. But Godzilla is still at his best when he is the main antagonistic threat.
Yeah,
to the civilization, and when
he's used as like a force of nature.
Yes, and the people have to find a way to put a stop to him,
to overcome him.
Yeah, that's still the best way to tell that story.
It's the only way Godzilla's really like makes any sense.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, because dude, if you haven't watched it in a long time, revisit the 1954 Godzilla.
Yeah,
it is a beautiful film. It is dark. It is kind of disturbing. It's kind of in the same way that this movie is dealing with a country in kind of mourning. Same thing with Godzilla. Like that's why. I mean, I understand that's why they set the movie when they did and everything. But like, it's very visceral when you watch that original movie. Like you could feel the pain of the people that made it.
Yeah,
because of how, and it's so crazy because it's like a monster movie,
right?
But it represents this what one could only imagine is one of the most horrific things like a country could ever live through, right?
Yeah,
having nukes dropped on you, like holy shit, a new super weapon.
Yeah,
but yeah, I would suggest people, because if you watch Godzilla -1, you're gonna want to watch another Godzilla movie, like almost immediately. You're gonna be in the mood for Godzilla. Go watch the good one.
Yeah.
Just go to that.
Just go back to the original.
Go back to that one, and then maybe dip into like some of the 80s and the 90s stuff.
Yeah.
Showa era is fun. It's fun, guys. It's fun like Power Rangers is fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Skip out on Godzilla's Revenge. It's one of the most retarded movies ever of that whole series. It follows the son of Godzilla.
Oh yes, I know.
And he's got the doughy-eyed looking. Yes.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. Manila.
Yeah, so
Manila.
I'm gonna be big and strong like my dad. Yeah.
Dude, Godzilla's son is named Manila. What a disappointment.
Yeah.
Trembling says, I love the Kurt Russell and John Carpenter ones and the George Romero and Tom Savini ones in reference to the commentaries. Those are great commentaries. Always good commentaries. I love the Kurt Russell ones that he did for The Thing, Big Trouble in Little China. I don't know if they did one together for Escape from New York, though. And nobody did no commentaries from Escape from L.A., which I was super bummed.
Yeah, that I would want to hear.
I want to hear that comment. That's the commentary I want to hear.
Right.
Why? What happened?
What happened? Yeah.
I mean, not that you would get many answers. Carpenter did a commentary for Ghosts of Mars. It didn't make any more sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, not the movie itself, but why it happened.
Yeah.
He's like, we originally cast Jason Statham, and the studio was like, no, you have to cast Ice Cube. And I said, okay. Oh, Jesus.
But those little commentaries, like there's so many great little highlights. Like when John Carpenter's like on Big Trouble in Little China, like, oh yeah, we shot this in a brothel, by the way, or something like that.
Oh, he's one of the best curmudgeons. I really I have a real love for him. And I really hope he doesn't go out on the ward. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, yeah.
Just one more, John.
One more.
Or maybe would I live to regret it? Maybe I just regret it. Maybe we should just stop. Maybe we should stop, John.
Maybe we don't need anything else anymore. Yeah.
Trumping says they did Escape from New York. I want L.A. and that old Elvis one they did. Ah, yes, Elvis. That's right. Yeah, I want that. More than anything, I would love John Carpenter and Kurt Russell to do a commentary for Escape from L.A., which has aged very well. So they should. They're in good company now.
Right.
Everybody loves it now. Tina Turner's in it.
Yeah, there you go.
Stacy Keach is in that movie. Bunch of fine actors.
Steve Buscemi. There you go.
Steve Buscemi's in that movie.
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell's in that movie. The guy from Easy Rider's in that movie. All these great actors. Actually, it's a pretty impressive cast. He really used them in odd ways.
Yeah.
My number 2, we've already talked about it. Beau is Afraid.
Right.
I, like Jeremy, really loved Beau is Afraid, even though understanding that it's kind of a mess. It's very rare that you really see the id of a person, and I feel like that's kind of what, between Joaquin Phoenix and Ari Aster, I feel like that's kind of what they delivered. Mm-hmm. Like their deepest, darkest, weirdest insecurities. I mean, the movie ends metaphorically admitting that they are narcissists. and that everybody is out to get them and everybody hates them.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody is judging them for everything they've ever done, even though it clearly is impossible that anybody could focus that much attention on that person.
Right.
And it's kind of an amazing scene, honestly. That actually ending the trial, if you will.
The trial of oneself. Yeah.
It's incredible. I mean, there is some stuff in that movie I will never forget. Like some wild shit in that movie. Like you, I do think the first third is the most satisfying, I'll say. It's the most satisfying.
Right.
And the most like kind of normal way. Because it has a story. He's trying to get his plane ticket and his travel arrangements prepared to go see his mother, and all this stuff keeps happening and gets in his fucking way.
Yeah.
And so you get to watch like kind of a journey that he goes through. But there are so many like layers to it, and what they're talking about, and like I was like, oh, is he like talking shit about like New York City? Like, you know, just all the crazy, like he's just talking about like modern urban environments. And like all the like, it's just like mental illness and crazy people and violence and just gross shit everywhere.
Yeah.
And there's like no escape from it. And at some point, it's going to just infect your life if you live around it enough, which is kind of the metaphor of like all the people end up in his, like, you know, in his house.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, Darren Aronofsky's mother is not like that far off the mark in terms of invoking something. Because, like, just like that movie, it's like kind of purely allegorical. It doesn't really make sense on a literal level. It doesn't really have much of a story per se. But it's just something about it. I just can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah, it keeps coming back. Like, yeah, there's going to be things that are just going to be cemented in my brain now. Even I mean, aspects of the middle portion. When he's with like the whole theater community, just like out in that remote part of the forest, you know, there's little things there where I'm just, you know, they're just funny, you know, or just bizarre, you know, and
you're kind of wondering if he's kind of trolling you a little bit, but also it's kind of like, I think the character is supposed to be like, it's this idealized version of maybe what he would have liked his life to have been.
Oh, sure.
You know, and he's getting to have this kind of preview of that right before he goes home to mother, back to reality, his life.
Yeah.
In a way, you know. But I will say, actually, the entire sequence with his mother is incredible. Like the actress that plays his mother is actually, she's not in a ton of stuff. I think she's like more of a theater actress.
She's a theater yeah.
Yeah, and she is incredible.
And she brings out like the one moment in Bo, the character, where he takes like one level like of agency to like do something that he actually wants to do. If it means he'll feel better at the very least, you know, and I guess spoilers that like he actually does attempt to kill her in a sequence, choke her out, you know. The first time you ever see Bo actually like feel like he's kind of in control, you know, just this very brief moment. Exploitate. I don't know how you want to describe it, however people interpret that, but like, you know, it's that dynamic is definitely the most fascinating in terms of like how they showed in flashbacks and how sheltered and how traumatized he was. I know trauma is the end all be all talking point of everything horror, but
because it
works here.
It's millennial topic du jour. All millennials have a chip on their shoulder because they think their parents fucked them up, and maybe their parents did. Right. Because you know, boomers weren't great parents, and Gen Xers kind of also maybe weren't great parents because of their parents, and so on and so forth. And it's up to me, Jeremy, to break the cycle.
There you go. Yeah.
So I've done it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a wonderful father. Trelling says the ward is subpar Shutter Island. I don't know why he even did it. I don't know why. He was in a weird mode. He was doing those Masters of Horror. Mick Garris got to him. Fucking Mick Garris. Mick, Master of Horror.
Spider Fingers. Yes.
Ooh, what a hack. Yeah, he's doing those Master of Horror movies, which the first one I think is okay. Cigarette Burns. And then the second one he did was Pro-Life. about like this abortion clinic. It's like this bleeding old school Democrat bullshit. I'm just like, shut the fuck up, John. I don't. Old Christian redneck don't want his daughter to have an abortion. Well, it turns out she's was impregnated by the devil, and boy, did they regret not having that abortion. And I was like, really, this is really John. And it's not even made well either. It's just
No.
like it's just he just like is very lazy. It's very late stage, late career John Carpenter. I mean, like, let's be real, guys. I think surprise. Village of the Damned, I think, has actually aged well, and if you look at it in the appropriate context of what he's recreating, like the B50s vibe, I think it's actually better than people give it credit for. But that's kind of the beginning of the end. It's the beginning of the end, dude. Come on. The last really solid movie he made was In the Mouth of Madness.
Hey, he holds out his hand and a check falls right in, and that's all.
Yeah. Oh, you want to remake Halloween? Where's my check?
Yeah.
Trending says an old man with long hair cringe. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
You're not. Listen, it is what it is. I'm not gonna say. I can't. I didn't say it. You did, Trembling.
I'll just get right to it then.
Yeah, that's right. Well, hold on. We got fanfare. Do we have fanfare? You know, I'm going to give you this for fanfare. You ready?
Yep.
Your number one.
My number one, we already covered earlier, but is actually Blackberry. Yeah.
Oh, cool. That's your number one. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So your number 10 is my number one. I guess I kind of went in knowing I was going to get something that is just so bizarrely like lopsided from what
the
average biopic or like story about like something that no like consumer or conceivable like movie viewer would really care about, probably, if they're not within those confines. But Matt Johnson finds a way to make it captivating, so interesting, so silly and goofy and dramatic and darkly comedic, it is just like one like devastating just kind of like blow to everybody right to the very ending too. I like how it ends.
It feels like this, it's almost like a comedy of errors at some point.
Yeah
where it just gets even more. I honestly, my one thing that I kind of wish it was longer.
Sure.
I wasn't ready for it to be over when it was over. I'll be honest. I don't know. Maybe that's because I just enjoyed the chemistry of the cast and I just like wanted to hang out with them more.
Right. There's apparently an Amazon mini-series version of it where they cut it up actually into episodes.
Is it on Amazon? Or I heard that. Well, I thought it was like on a Canadian TV thing or whatever.
One of the Plus accounts or something like that.
Is it like?
Yeah.
Is it actually longer, or do they just cut it up?
They just cut it up.
So it's
like
not
they make it more episodic. Yeah.
No, is it longer though? Is the runtime collectively longer? Are they like hour episodes? Because the movie's like 2 hours on the nose, I think.
I think it's shorter episodes if I remember correctly. Maybe there's like some deleted scenes in there, but like it's done just more as a
give us the real cut.
Right.
Give it to us.
But kind of like what they did with the Hateful Eight, where they kind of broke it up into.
Yeah, that's what I was going to actually say. Is it like because the Hateful Eight? I know that they put like back in the traveling roadshow scene or something.
Yeah.
Of a guy plucking a chicken.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I remember when I heard about that, I was like, "That's so fucking gay." Like, stop, Tarantino. Like, well, it's you know what? Fuck me. No, I'm wrong.
Hey, I'm
wrong. I'm turning on myself in the moment. I'm wrong. He's right. You should put a weird extra scene that you could only like 300 people will see. I agree.
Hey, Tarantino can do no wrong at this point. His Nostalgia Critic movie is going to be amazing. I cannot wait. Yeah.
Listen, if he was the one, he's the one. He's got to do it. He's got to do it.
Yeah.
You know, actually, speaking of Tarantino, you know what? I actually really like his podcast that he does with Roger Avery, the Video Archives. Have you ever watched it?
Oh, I've got to check that out. No, I know what you're talking about, though. Yeah.
Pretty good. I enjoy it. I mean, if you just like kind of movie nerds talking about movies, that's just kind of what it is. It's refreshingly casual.
Yeah.
and like just kind of just banter. It's nice.
Yeah.
My number one film. My number one. Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer.
Okay.
Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer. Listen, I went with a technical achievement this year for my number one. I voted with my head instead of my heart, because my heart would have been Godzilla -1. But this is such a big. I mean, this is like he pulled out all the stops. I mean, this is cinema. Like it's a masterpiece from that level. I think that people that don't get it are gay and lame. Just joking. No, I just really loved it, and the more I have seen it, the more I've liked it.
Mm.
I noticed something new about it, some kind of clever little flourish that Christopher Nolan's brought to it, or something like that. The framing device, the way he puts it together, the way he does this thing, and he does the same thing in Dunkirk. It's just like the way he tells the story. You know the story. We all know the story, but the way that he tells the story makes it feel like it's a mystery, like it's unfolding before me. Like I don't know what's going to happen, even though I know it's going to happen. And I think that's incredibly impressive. And that's just like the power of his ability as a storyteller to do that, because not everybody could pull that off.
Yeah.
And just the way he can juggle all these balls, and you're never confused, and I don't know.
He keeps getting
really
better.
Impressive.
He keeps getting like better and better with the time jumping and the montage, and to make you feel like even the most like even the most non-important subject matters or whatever's going on in the moment, like really feel elevated, and like this is like a this could be the death of somebody if we don't come to this decision quick, and you feel the stress, you feel the anxiety, you feel the really swept up and beautiful emotions of like creating something that nobody else has really attempted. In it, the whole way through.
Yeah, I mean, I think like they kind of hedged their bets with was Oppenheimer a communist or not? He was a communist.
Oh, sure.
And there was tons of completely legitimate stuff with them being worried about selling information to the Russians. That's all real. And the movie kind of downplays it and acts like, oh, it's like the man was being paranoid. Dude, they're building a fucking nuclear weapon. Like the man should have been paranoid. But anyways, and I take a little bit of umbrage with that, but it's just the technical prowess. I think that really, because even like the performances, I think everybody's really good, because I expect them to be really good in a Christopher Nolan movie. I like even like Cillian Murphy, like he's really good. Yeah. I don't know, it's an impression of Oppenheimer,
right?
But it's good. It's really good. But I almost like that's just a foregone conclusion. I just expect that from a movie that Christopher Nolan's going to make. So the things that really kind of blow me away or that take my focus is definitely like his technical acumen, and just how much you could just tell that he loves making movies in the movie that you're watching. Like it's just like a pure joy. It's awesome. I respect the fuck out of Christopher Nolan for what he's tried to do for movie theaters and the craft and supporting independent artists, and even going to war with Warner Brothers over the day and date streaming and not telling any of the directors or anything like that. Like, just seems like a good dude too. Honestly.
No, he loves the texture that he's filming on. There's like an actual genuine respect for all of it. Which you don't see as often with a lot of people on his caliber.
He's very gracious. He's like a gracious person.
Right. I also agreed with one of your earlier takes too, of the cast, and I enjoyed Cillian Murphy. I enjoyed Robert Downey Jr. Jason Clarke, he was a standout, like just from like the scenes that he got too.
He's got a tough role as an actor, because he's he's like a cog. He's like it's a utility thing. Yeah. And the fact that he's able to do it and give like a great performance, because Jeremy and I talked about this privately, and I had noticed the last time I watched Oppenheimer that Jason Clarke is the transitionary kind of model for the story and the jumping timelines, and the tone of his performance and how he modulates himself directly relates to the next scene that you're going to watch.
Yes.
And like that's something you have to do deliberately. That's something that Nolan and Clarke would have had to have actually deliberately done for that to work, which kind of makes it even more awesome to me. But yeah, Jason Clarke is kind of the secret MVP. Him or maybe Casey Affleck. Casey Affleck's pretty good.
That one surprised me too.
Yeah.
When I first watched it, I was like,
he was really good.
And
I love like the way that they introduced his character.
Yeah.
Like, he went to Russia to kill Bolsheviks.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't mess with this guy. Yeah.
Trembling says Tarantino has some brain dead takes in his movie book though, but I enjoyed it. I have it, but I have not read it on cinema.
Cinema articulate. Yeah. No, I liked the book fine, but yeah, no, I agree. He's not always like the most.
Yeah, but that's what but that's what I like about Tarantino, because he actually has a lot of very normie takes.
Yeah.
He's the kind of guy who's just like, did I like it?
Yeah.
Sometimes that's all he needs, and he all clearly has nostalgia brain.
Oh sure.
And when they talk, especially when you listen to video archives, they talk a lot about stuff that like the last time he watched it was like when it came out in the theater, and he tells you about when he went to the theater and saw it. How many I saw Trauma 4 times in the theater. I saw Fox Die or whatever. What's that? Fox, the one with Clint Eastwood. He has like a spy jet.
Oh,
Fighting Force Fox Force or
Fox,
something. It's just Fox something.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's about a stealth jet. And I kind of like that he sticks up for kind of passable movies.
Firefox.
Firefox, thank you.
Yeah, sorry.
Like the browser. It's and I enjoy that about him. Like, because he's not pretentious. I think people think he's pretentious. I don't ever find him very pretentious though myself. I don't know. Do you think he's pretentious?
Not fully, and the people that say that he is, or people I know from film school who do, never know half the source material he's referencing and have to look it up and actually like educate themselves on like what he's actually like. He's a film lover at the end of the day, and I'll take that over half of these directors that don't, who are really stuck up their own ass or egos and don't actually appreciate the films of the past that, you could say sometimes he knocks things off or copies or is influenced by, but I much prefer somebody that actually understands and appreciates those movies than somebody that just flat out deflects them from their whole sphere.
But he appreciates those movies because he takes them for what they are.
Yes,
he doesn't expect them to be something that they're not, and he just he just likes movies. Trevor says his take on the movie Hardcore is the worst. He goes out of his way to defend degenerates in that movie. You know what? He has said some fucking weird stuff about shit like that. I haven't heard his hardcore take, but the one thing that I do know about is the Roman Polanski comments that he made about the girl that Roman Polanski drugged and sodomized, like the 13-year-old girl, that she wanted it and she knew what she was doing. And it was unfair. He said this on Howard Stern, like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I always thought that was really gross and creepy. And then I made a connection in the last movie he made. Hollywood.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Once Upon a Time. Sorry, guys. It's late. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And he made he has a scene where somebody's watching Sharon Tate, commenting that she likes to date guys that look like teenage boys. And I was like, Tarantino, that is you fucking smearing Sharon Tate with shit so you can rationalize Roman Polanski. I just felt it. Yeah. I just felt that's what the intention was. And maybe like it's not the literal intention in the movie, but that was the subtext to me, knowing how Tarantino feels about that shit. Yeah. No. You know what, Trembling, you're right. Fuck Quentin Tarantino.